AFL fans love to boo and release all their frustration at the football. Already in 2024, we have seen players and one coach specifically cop it. The round 13 Kings birthday game saw two players cop the heat. Brayden Maynard was first, the Melbourne fans not forgetting about his smother hit on Angus Brayshaw in the previous season's qualifying final in what would be his last game for Melbourne. Now the hit alone wasn't the cause of Brayshaw's concussion retirement, but the final blow. Every time he touched the ball, Maynard was heckled, but because it was a Collingwood home game, the cheers often outweighed the booing. Not so much for Stephen May. These comments were far more lighthearted than what Maynard did, but Pies fans could care less. Every time he touched the ball, the boos rang strong around the MCG.
On the ground. He's gone! He's gone, Ken! Inside, the cauldron was white hot as fans booed coach Ken Hinkley.
The footy, what are they up to, 92 now?
Watching his side tear apart.
Kenny's time is done.
Who's it going to be, the team?
Nothing shows the fans' passion more than this. After 11 full seasons as head coach, with a winning percentage above 60% and reviving a club that was dwindling in the early 2010s, some believe the treatment Hinkley got was not right. It might not be, but the same people saying this also don't pay the money to go to the games and don't support Port Adelaide. It's an unforgiving sport, and the passion of the fan can often lead to outbursts like this. Throw in a long history and deep rivalries too, and there is no surprise that the AFL can be a birthplace of despise towards many people. The hatred between two parties in the AFL isn't always between a fan and opposition player like some of the examples we've seen in the past. It can bubble away between two individual players, something that is rarely seen in today's game. But not many had a hatred towards each other like Dane Zorko and Touk Miller. It got heated during the two 2018 Q clashes between Brisbane and Gold Coast. At this time, Zorko was one of the best midfield forwards in the AFL, while Miller was still a young midfielder who would often play run-with roles. Their size and speed made it a perfect one-on-one matchup. In round 5 of 2018, they would clash. During the physical matchup, Miller would win the day. He had 21 disposals and 7 clearances, while keeping Zorko to 10 disposals and a goal in the Suns' 5-point win. But the real controversy came after the game when Miller went to shake Zorko's hand, and in response, Zorko told him in PG terms to go away. In round 22 of the same season, they would meet again. It was another thriller between the two sides as Brisbane held on for a 4-point win. The sideshow of Zorko vs Miller was present through the game, with both nullifying each other's impact. But it did get ugly after the match, and Zorko copped criticism for his outburst and overall lack of sportsmanship.
To hold things up for the Lions, and Brisbane take the bragging rights in Q Class 16. Dane Zorko wants a bit of revenge. He's got it on the scoreboard, and they finally shake hands. Well, intriguing finish to this one.
It seemed the heated rivalry might be over. Not much happened between the two over the next 4 years, as Zorko's overall role diminished at Brisbane, mainly due to Lachie Neale joining, and Miller became a ball-winning midfielder rather than a tagger. But just last season, another event between the two sparked. According to Zorko, Miller in a tackle went with a squirrel grip.
Not convinced there's a lot in this, really. I mean, it looks a bit messy, a bit ugly. Clearly Dane Zorko doesn't like what's going on, but I think it's clearly accidental from Touk Miller's point of view.
After an investigation where both parties were interviewed, Miller was handed a 1-game ban. Unsurprisingly, Zorko wasn't happy with the short length of the ban, while Gold Coast weren't happy with the 1-game suspension, denying all claims the grab was on purpose. Perhaps there is another chapter or two left in the spiteful rivalry. Toby Green's reputation across the competition has improved. He still has his moments of letting frustration get to him, but as captain of the Giants, he has shown great leadership. Feels like most supporter groups have accepted Toby aside from one. It may have been 7 years ago that the hatred for him started, but it hasn't been forgotten. After the 2016 preliminary final epic between the Western Bulldogs and GWS, a new rivalry of sorts started. Green was a major factor. In 2017 especially, two nasty plays by Green made him enemy number one for the Bulldog supporters. In round 6 of 2017, the rematch between the two sides, the Giants ended up winning the game by 2 points, but it came at a cost.
For me, it was obviously a real dirty little act from Toby Green. He has got some history.
Green copped a 2-week ban for his punch on Caleb Daniel. Nowadays, it would probably be at least double that, but it was the first instalment of Green vs the Bulldogs. It was only 15 rounds later that the next instalment came. Again, the Giants got the 4 points, winning by 48 in a demolition, but the third quarter is when all the action started.
To be here or there. This is now, actually, isn't it? I mean, it's a game high 22 points. Toby Green comes to the ground. Let's listen to this as he comes to the bench.
It started an all-in brawl. The high boot was a part of Green's game for a while, but on this occasion, he didn't even get a suspension despite being reported on the night. His third and final act that aggravated Dogs fans was in another Giants win. This time far away from most Bulldog supporters. The 2019 elimination final was in Sydney and it was a beatdown. Matt DeBoer tagged the Bont and others from the Giants joined in. Of course, one of them was Toby Green, who was at his dirty best.
And he pleaded guilty to serious misconduct. Right. And then they started to work through it. The prosecution was making contact with the forearm and hands to Bontempelli's head and pulling the hair. There was no allegation of gouging.
The tackle from Bontempelli was on the dangerous side, but Green took the opportunity to literally rub his head in the dirt. Bontempelli had just 11 disposals, while Green had 20 and kicked 3 goals in the 113-55 win. It was a 3-year run of moments between the player and club that not many have forgotten. On the surface, the Twitter and media spat between Kane Cornes and Taylor Walker seems lighthearted. Deep down, I don't think it is. It began after the 2017 Grand Final, in which Cornes criticised Walker's performance in Adelaide's loss. Slowly, Walker began taking small shots at Cornes on Twitter, in one instance calling him Negative Kane. It was weird at the time, especially for a club captain, but the feud kept on growing. In 2019, Cornes fired back after Tex poked fun at him for his firefighting career.
You weren't there long enough to be a past firefighter.
Oh!
Good art from Tex. Good comeback. That's okay. That's good. And then, there we go.
Here we go. Well, we've had our magnificent team here at Channel 9 poll through the data here, TJ, and we've come to one conclusion. The data's pointed this in one place, that Tex is only a hero on Twitter after he's played a good game at AFL level. And I want to show you the evidence, Damo. This is grand final, of course, the 30th of September 2017, the power stance, Tex's performance. Misses a couple of goals here, gets one kicked out in the full. So hang on, we're leading up to it, Bill. The evidence points only one way. So after this, Tex doesn't tweet for a month.
Soon after, on New Year's Eve, Cornes traced back a prank call. He called back the number and managed to find the full name of the person on the voicemail. He then tracked this name on Instagram, and in one of the photos, guess who was there? Taylor Walker. You can put the pieces together. Then in 2020, more fuel was added to the fire. Walker tweeted once again after Cornes announced on the Sunday Footy Show an AFL player was abusing him live on radio and that he knew who it was. Cornes fired back.
So I think that was meant to be a little bit of fun, but it caught fire. Tex reacted this way. Simple, this bloke can dish it out, but he can't take it, grow up and stop sooking. So Tex again chiming in on you. What's your take on Tex's response here?
I think Taylor Walker's a good guy, and I like the fact that he's outspoken.
A lot of people would find that hard.
I like that he's outspoken. He's not boring. I think there's a lot of boring people in the media football and also from the playing fraternity. But what it has given me a great insight into is Taylor Walker's mindset. Like, if he is that rattled by a comment that is so unrelated to him that he feels like he has to continually chip in, it paints a good picture to me of what is reflective of his career and his football club. When there are big moments like we're seeing here, they don't have the mental toughness to be able to perform in the big moments.
This is unreasonable to pull out.
In the same year, he poked fun at Walker's conditioning.
Taylor Walker with Rory Sloane having a kick on Adelaide Oval. The club tweeted this video out, and I just thought, who would you rather having playing centre-half forward for this season? Taylor Walker or Charlie Nixon? Have a look at that. What has Tex been doing?
That's just a bad shot.
The feud has settled since, but Corns has occasionally poked the bear. Part of the AFL are these type of heated disputes. It's what gives games that extra meaning, even though the result of the game might not even be that important.